our next topic, and our next topic actually is one where culture is going to be doing the lead on this one. What's going on? So what's going on, culture?
Disney's not having a great day. They're not having today is not a party for Disney. Look, they thought they were coming out and telling people all this great news that, hey, investor guys, we're doing a filing and you're going to be stoked because
we're spending more of your money.
We're going to do something. We're going to do something cool. Except that's not how everybody reacted. Disney plans to nearly double its investment in parks and the cruise business.
Was this seemingly a response to Universal as well?
Yeah,
Universal said they're going to do 90 billion or something like that.
Yeah, they're spending money. They're building parks everywhere. They're getting invested in some other businesses that they haven't been in before. They are going to dominate Florida going forward. And so these guys said, well, we were going to spend 30 billion over 10 years. Now we're going to spend 60 billion over 10 years. Never mind that most of that's going to be international development. We're not going to dump it in the States, or it would make us a lot of money and it would, increase shareholder value. But we're just going to put it elsewhere. Probably China. We're going to waste more money in China.
It will be because they've really expanded over there.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they want to do. So they're going to dump 60 billion over the next 10 years. And that sounds like a big number until you go, wait a minute. That's only $6 billion a year. Wait a minute. You're going to divide that up into 6 theme parks. Wait a minute. Or locations, excuse me. Wait a minute. It's going to cost you $6 billion alone just to build the third gate at Disneyland Resort in California. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're looking to build a third gate in California, a third park.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. So
this was genuinely a response to Universal, wasn't it? Because Universal was like, "Yeah, we're going to do this," and then this is, relatively newish by comparison to that news. That news was quite early in the day.
Yeah, I mean, and they're doing their level best to play catch up. They probably had a heads up that this was coming. And in all honesty, I mean, that you have to do a filing anytime you change some stuff around, big stuff like this, because this is going to be numbers you're reporting to your shareholders. So, but anyway, so the theme parks actually haven't been as big a deal here in the States as they normally are. Their shining jewel is Florida, and they had much depressed attendance during their busiest season, which is summer here, and they have. Of course, other parks experienced similar. I mean, the Universal Park had a slightly depressed attendance, but nothing compared to Disney. And Disney's going to lose market share to Epic Universe, which Universal's building right down the street, starting in late 2024. So by the time we get to summer season next year, you're going to have a massive theme park that could literally take a guest 4 days to go through just that one park, and then they'll have 3 parks there.
Yeah. So what the market response has been terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, we can look at that. Bam. 81.94. They lost $3.08 or 3.62% today.
I think that's an important thing to cover, guys. Is they announced this
and they tanked
undoubtedly as something which would have been positive for the company, and then the market has received that and just gone, that's terrible news.
Now
you're investing more money. No.
Yeah, well, and again, to be fair, and I always like to be fair, the broader markets, if you look up here at the top, which is why I didn't scroll all the way down, NASDAQ, they're all down. This is all bad. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, and Russell 2000 are all down. But here's the worst news, Nate. They started the day or the previous close was 85.02. And before they could even open today, they were 83.92. And they're finishing up below $82. And they could splash back down into the 70s. You see here, they're fighting to stay at this 81.94 now trading. So, but I mean, the response should have been exactly the polar opposite of that. People should have been excited. But again, I mean, shares fell 3% in early trading. I mean, that's not what you were looking for, And they tried to tout the third quarter that the theme park division saw a 13% increase to 8.3 billion. But the reason they saw that is
compared to what? Compared to last year when no one was going anyway.
Well, no, because they didn't. China wasn't open.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they lost all of China. The two big parks in China were down. So they're going to have an increase in revenue just because they came back up
All they're doing
online.
is getting the revenue that they previously weren't. Like it's not an increase. It's not like a marked increase that they're back to their baseline basically, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're headed downwards again, and this is where they're going to spend their money: Hong Kong, Paris, Tokyo, and Shanghai.
I saw an advert for Paris today or yesterday, which is very unusual. Like I never, I've not seen a Disneyland Paris advert for some time. They used to be on in the UK quite reasonably frequently. And I hadn't seen one for a while. And then I saw one today. And I was like, that's a bloody surprise to see this, because it's unusual when you see them pop again, something that it's not in circulation anymore. Popped up, and I was like, geez, that's just weird to see it. Previous to that, I'd seen them advertising for the Florida park at a massively discounted rate. But that was a few months ago. That was in summer. They were trying to get people, I guess, from the UK to fly over and spend loads of money, maybe. Not good.
Well, the Paris parks are run down considerably, and they tried to freshen them up and freshen up that hotel that's there, and it just fell off. I mean, it's been kind of rough. But look, they're also going to dump more money in boats because they like boats.
Well, they don't have many. That's part of it. They don't have many of the so yeah. The cruise line industry is a very interesting industry. And can be very lucrative, actually. But Disney doesn't have enough boats to make a sort of a headway in that sector, quite frankly. So it makes sense that, I presume that they're going to be buying more boats, building more boats, or I guess revamping their current boats. But that would mean that they're going to have to take some out of commission.
Well,
building boats takes years to finish.
It does, and they've been investing pretty heavily in them. They've brought on 2 giant cruise lines with another one on the way. They picked up one halfway through construction when Chapek was still there for like a song, and now it's being retrofitted into a Disney boat. But that's saving them a ton of money because they picked it up for next to nothing. So
yeah, like a half finished.
It was half done.
Other cruise lines. Ship, I guess.
They're really going to push hard into the cruise business.
It's interesting because Disney was never considered to be the best of it. So the cruise line industry is a very interesting industry. It's the predominant demographic of cruise lines. There's 2 demographics, right? So there's old people, and then there's sort of middle Americans, I guess would be the best way of putting it, and middle-aged Americans, like middle to young-aged Americans. That's the predominant market value of the cruise line industry. So a lot of old people, like it's a known sort of meme that people will basically just live on a cruise line rather than go into a retirement home, and they die on cruise lines. There's morgues on cruise ships.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, and then you've got the Carnival Cruise Line crowd, right? Carnival Cruise Line, huge cruise line, and their crowd is that sort of middle America, that sort of middle-aged young crowd as well, and they make their money off of the booze and the gambling. That's predominantly where they make their money. Disney's never been a massive player because they can't really. They're trying to grapple with. Or trying to create another market, or I guess within the cruise industry, if that makes any sense. Because families go on Carnival because they're cheap, and they're loads of kids can go off and just be looked after by the entertainment staff. So you're looking to capture that sort of higher end family in a sort of family of the market type but I don't think it will really. I don't know if it will catch on. To be fair with them,
Well,
just because it's too much money. It's similar to the Galactic Star Cruiser. It's just too much.
Well, they've been in the cruise business for a long time. They currently have 5 boats. They have a 6th boat coming online in 2024 in December, so it's a whole year away. They'll be up to 6 boats. They were originally, if you remember, Nate, I know I know I'm old, but they originally were partnered with Carnival. They had the big red boat. They were originally partnered with them out of Florida.
Yep.
So
yeah,
you know an awful lot about the cruise line business. Holy cow!
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Surprise you.
Wow. Yeah, but no, people do live on boats. I've seen that. I've seen people just continually take cruises because they have meals paid for, housing. People take care of the bedding and laundry and everything else. So.
And their health insurance is covered as well via the online medical part. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't think. I mean, Tom, you haven't chipped in on this. He's probably eating his bloody.
I've never even been on a cruise in my life. As far as the rest goes, like I saw the stock tank after they announced this $60 billion in spending, and I didn't even know what Culture was saying. I just saw it as, oh, we're just spending more of your money when we don't have it at this point, was kind of the way I was seeing it. But yeah, I mean, if they're spreading this over 6 parks, that ain't shit. And when you're facing an uphill battle against Universal this year, because they're going to be dropping the Nintendo World here real soon, aren't they? Culture.
That's just gonna.
That's gonna cremate them.
It's gonna kill them. I mean, if they get it, and again, they're pushing hard. How do I know that? Because I have people that I know that are working on it. That used to work for Disney. They are pushing really, really hard to get Epic Universe open. So if they get that open by summer season next year, ball game over.
Yeah.
All game over.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the other part of the whole Disney situation that's funny is like, it's all well and good. You're announcing this stuff. You're trying to spend loads of money, generate, that sort of stuff, market value, whatever. But you've still got to come up with billions for Hulu.
Well, and they're not kidding. They're in the position where they are going to really try to sell ABC, all the ABC affiliates and everything else. I mean, this segment right now should just be called Dismal Disney because they have so many bad things happening. And I said it before on my 6-minute stream this morning that they're forced to a position they have to buy Hulu, and Hulu at minimum is $10 billion. That could be a lot more, and they have to close that by the end of September, so that it doesn't fall into next fiscal year. They're terrified.
Yeah.
Worst possible situation right now.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're up shit creek, aren't they, without a paddle, quite frankly.
I mean, I don't. So they're gonna, if they net $10 billion out of getting rid of FX, Nat Geo, ABC, and some other television channels, so maybe they net 10 billion. So maybe it's a wash, but it may not close.
Maybe. Well, that's the thing. People are aware of what situation they're in. They don't. It's not. It's a buyer's market in that situation. It's not the seller's market. It's the buyer's market, because they're aware of what state Disney's in at this point in time. So, yeah, interesting.